Hello, everyone. I just got done with a workout, and so I'm here all sweaty. But it's too hard to do this at home today, I think, because my kids will be rowdy. So I'm going to do this in here. And I wanted to talk about one of the things that I really value as a woman, as a mother, and as a human being is my emotional system, my emotional vulnerability. And I know that might sound strange because so often in our culture, that's considered a weakness, to be emotionally vulnerable. Don't show your weakness, right? Don't show them you're vulnerable. And thank God Brené Brown has been talking about this, like that is related to courage, right? And I just think, I've been studying this actually for 7 years now. And it's really valuable to me. And in fact, like in child development, there's a developmental psychologist by the name of Gordon Neufeld. And I love to read his work. He's brilliant. And he talks about how children's emotional system, like them having emotions and being able to actually feel their feelings and cry and tantrum and so forth, is actually the engine of development. Like moving those emotions is how the brain says, oh, I'm done with this now, and now I can develop. Because those sort of suppressed emotions slows down that developmental process. And when I really started to get that, my life changed. I've also studied it from a trauma perspective as well, and our ability to offload trauma through emotions, and that also might even be things like sweating, or because when we're afraid, we sweat, we shake, like those. That there are physical ways that we offload and express every single emotion. So it doesn't necessarily have to be crying all the time. It could be other things. So hi, Tom. And so I just value so much this ability to do that, to be able to offload those things. And I think about like our society in general is so traumatized that I think we've lost in so many ways that ability to show those emotions, those feelings, because we relate it to weakness. And then also, it doesn't feel good. Like, it feels strange in our body. It feels hard in our body to actually be able to do that. And so part of the practice that I come from is you do it with another person, right? Like, you shouldn't have to do that alone. And it doesn't feel good. And so you should get the support of your community. You should get the support of the people around you. And so then what I've also found is that one of the things that Gordon Neufeld also talks about, he talks about emotional accessibility. And that when we have a practice of experiencing our emotions, expressing our emotions, hi Sarah, when we experience those things and we express those emotions, that we learn how to make them accessible. And I really didn't start learning this myself, I'm embarrassed to say, but until my mid-40s. I'm 53 now, and with lots of practice, lots of support, I'm able to do this quite a bit. Hi, Anna. But being able to, have that practice, to access our emotions, to have them, experience them, actually makes us more accessible as human beings to our heart center, to each other as well. And so I studied this more from a parenting perspective, because we as parents need to be emotionally accessible, not just physically accessible to our children, but we also need to be emotionally accessible to them. And so, and that's not just, that's so important because developmentally they rely on that. But I also just look at that from a human perspective. Like, wouldn't humanity be better if we all could be accessible to each other, not consumed with our own stuff. Like have a regular practice of having a place to put the stresses of life, the traumas of life, so that we can show up for each other and we can feel each other. And I think we all know, when we're in the presence of someone else that we can actually feel them, right? And that's because they're emotionally accessible in that moment. And we can't do it every minute, every day, of course, but that's why I consider it a practice, and that's why I do a practice of listening partnerships, is how I do this, where I get listened to and I listen to someone else. We share space with one another, and we listen to what's hard in life so that we can just have a regular practice of showing up more in life outside of that listening partnership. Well, in it too, you're showing up for sure. So anyway, that's just a huge value of mine and something I feel so strongly about and care about and passionate about. So thank you so much, and I hope you all have a beautiful, amazing day. Bye.